Giving to everybody, day early, I guess. So it's coming off of a game that I thought we played better. I thought we were crisp, we were sharp on both ends of the court, aggressive. I think all those things we felt pretty good about. So obviously it's the next challenge. We're awfully excited and honored to be playing on Thanksgiving Day on CBS in a game that's, in my opinion, in one of the great basketball cities in the country. I go back a long way to, youth as going to the NCAA tournament in Kansas City at Municipal Auditorium, and obviously Big 8 and Big 12 tournaments there, and so it's a great place. T-Mobile's a wonderful arena, and then we've got Hall of Fame coach and John Calipari in year one at Arkansas. He's got a lot of carryover on his team with guys from Kentucky, and then Cal's always going to put a great group of freshmen out there. So chance for us to get better, chance for us to continue to grow, and against a team that plays awfully hard, has terrific guards, and then there's the obvious matchup between the twins. So that'll be fun to see. I don't know if I've ever been a part of something that unique, but they're both unbelievable players. They're both huge impacts on each of our teams, and it'll be a good duel. So it'll be fun to see how both those guys handle that moment and see who wins the jump ball anyway.
Through 6 games, how are you evaluating what you've gotten from Tommy, maybe in comparison to what you thought going in? I mean, you knew he was 21 and played good competition, but he's been really productive.
Yeah, he's been really good. He's been better than maybe I anticipated this early. Nothing really rattles him. He's got a tremendous amount of maturity. I think his understanding of the game and his processing is very slow, and that's a really good thing. He doesn't play sped up. It's always at a pace and a patience that is very unique to a young player in terms of his experience here. Most guys play a little sped up, but he's got tremendous maturity. He can do it at all 3 levels: pick and roll, pick and pop. He can beat you with back-to-basket moves. But his intelligence defensively has been probably the biggest attribute or biggest shock for me in terms of surprise. But he's been great.
What do you think about that matchup with Zvonimir? Like, what are you sort of anticipating?
Yeah, they're different players. Z is maybe not quite as physically, girth and as strong, but is outstanding shooter. Very, he's twitchy. He's got great balance. He probably protects the rim. Blocking shots wise a little more effectively right now than Tommy, but they're just unique. They're different. So it'll be interesting to see how they guard Tommy, and I'm sure they're curious as to what we'll do with Z and some of his actions. But they're both really effective, and they're both highly efficient.
Does this team, Arkansas, look like a John Calipari team? Does it look like carryover from years past?
Yeah, they're really good defensively. They're very, very aggressive. They're very handsy. Boogie Flan, one of the top point guards in the country. Everything starts with him. He's got great quickness. He's got great length. This team does a great job of what we call raking on drives and getting deflections. So they're not a real deep team, but Cal's teams are always one of the top teams defensively and play really hard, and this team's no different.
Kylan and KJ do most of the facilitating, but just you've got other guys, like 3 others have had like multiple assist games. Just what does that maybe allow you to do offensively when you've got maybe playmakers at every spot?
Yeah, and I think the one thing is we're trying to continue to play aggressively, and I thought that's what our biggest step was the other night, and try to play aggressively, not just fast, but aggressive, and you know, both those guys had 12 assists, or there was 12 assists between those two, but you know, I thought the thing we did the other night was great. Was we played offense through Tommy as well. We knew they post doubled. You know, the way they tagged. We made the simple plays. I thought Trey was effective, and you know, on post entering. You know, Ben had a couple. So I think it's multiple guys, but I like the aggressiveness with which those two guys are playing, and the pace with which they did it was the best it's been all year.
How much more prepared do you feel for a defense that can turn you over like that? I mean, you saw Ole Miss try to do that. I know it wasn't a game that counted, but some other defenses that have been aggressive with you guys.
Yeah, and I mean, let's not make light of Alabama's. Alabama defensively is pretty doggone good, and you know, and again, we just saw a team in Little Rock that is, you know, is one of the top defenses in terms of steals, in terms of similarity to Arkansas. They're right there. The personnel's not quite, but yeah, we've gotten better handling that every game. We were better after Ole Miss than we were when we played Alabama. We continue to grow since that game. So great challenge, great opportunity, and we'll find out. But I like the improvement we've made from game to game.
Where are you defensively after the Alabama game, after these next 2 games that you've had, and being able to sit down and guard and keep guys out of the paint?
Yeah, ask me that after this one.
Okay.
You know, I think we've grown. We're making less scouting report mistakes, and obviously we held the team to 34 points,
Sure.
and that's. I don't want to make light of that, but they're not Arkansas and they're not Alabama. You know, let's see. Arkansas poses a different challenge. Neither one of these bigs at Little Rock could shoot. That helped. We're going to face one that can. Z's had 6 in one game, 3. So, you know, that opens things up a little bit. But schematically, we're doing a lot of really good things, and we're making less mistakes. And then, you know, I thought our 3 perimeter guys have been excellent defensively, so they're going to have to match that tomorrow.
You're familiar with John L. Davis, obviously. What challenges he posed in the backcourt?
Yeah, he's a guy, man. He's one of those guys that you look at his career and he's found winning. He makes winning plays. He's big. He's physical. You know, I think that he's gotten better from game to game with them. You see him becoming more comfortable in what Cal's asking of him. His role's a little different than it was at FAU, but he is a guy that just finds baskets. He gets them on the offensive glass. He gets them in transition. He's strong. He'll get them an offensive rebound here or there. So he knows how to score points, and he's finding it in a lot of different ways.
You mentioned their rotation not being very deep. I think before the season, Cal talked about, why would he ever have more than 9 guys? I mean, just in terms of building a roster in this era, I mean, where do you sort of stand on that?
Yeah, you know, I think everybody's it's a little bit different in terms of what this thing looks like in today's world. You know, I think it's philosophy of what you choose. You know, it's I think you start looking around even at the NBA. They're playing fewer guys. They're going, you know, 8 deep. You know, maybe 9 in some cases, but you know, it just gets hard for everybody to play the minutes they want. If you know, there's 200 minutes in a game, and not everybody can play 30. And so it's about. I understand his philosophy. You know, it's the object is to win. So a lot of times you have to put your 5 best players out there as often as you can. And you know, we're still working on that. I feel a little more comfortable with the rotations we're getting into, but you know, 8, 9 gets really hard to play. 10 or 11 guys, and so those guys have to buy into those roles.
With Tommy, and because of the process, getting him even on the floor, conditioning-wise, were you concerned these first couple of months with him, or was he ready to go the minute he got cleared?
No, he was not ready to go. He had taken.
Is he still playing his way through conditioning at this
Yes,
point?
yes, and again, just a little later start. Some of it's strength.
Sure.
And the conditioning that comes with that. He was here basically at the end of July, so a very short time period to gain a lot of strength. He's done that. He's really bought into Fletch's diet stuff, the weight room. I think was a fairly new experience for him in terms of the how rigid it is with us, but yeah, we see it growth every day there. And I mean, he couldn't even get the ball to the rim after 2 trips when he got here. Now he's playing his way into pretty good shape. I still want him to continue to improve in that area. I'd like to get him where he plays 28 to 32 minutes pretty comfortably and pretty efficiently.
You got maybe a little more of Tommy and Morz together on Monday. Just
Good. Good, yeah. I think that's a good lineup for us, no matter who we play. My confidence in Morz is going through the roof. He's defensively a guy that can guard really anybody. He's got great feet. He's a great athlete. His rebounding and physicality and athleticism, and it's really hard to do what he's doing in terms of just catching balls above the rim, landing, and then just bouncing up and going to dunk him again on the offensive glass. And he's he's gaining confidence. We see that in his free throw stroke. We see that in his execution. So yeah, he'll be a guy that we could put out there with just about anybody.
And for him to fully buy into that, just go rebound role. I mean, is that what this team needed to maybe be at its whatever its best is?
Sure. Yeah, and I think it's what he does best. We've tried to keep things really simple with Morz early. Set great screens, roll, guard. The one thing he's got a great gift is he's very vocal. So we didn't have to teach him a lot about that, and he talks what he sees, which is a big thing for big guys. So that's helped him, but yeah, he's kept things very simple. Hasn't tried to overcomplicate. Hasn't tried to do things he's not capable of doing yet. But he's impacted with his physicality and athleticism for sure.
Obviously, international players playing college isn't anything new, but there's been a bigger wave, higher profile consistently. What do you think it means that you're seeing this matchup between these brothers instead of, have it here instead of in Serbia or Croatia? What does it mean for college basketball, you think?
Well, it's definitely helping the game. NIL's made it possible. There's no doubt about that. The insurgence of European guys is no greater example than these two. But that wouldn't happen without NIL. But it's just the trickle down. You look at the NBA, and arguably the best players in the NBA are Euros, and guys from abroad, international guys, and for us to have those quality of guys in the collegiate game does nothing but enhance our game. They're a joy to watch. They're a joy to work with, and it's truly a blessing for all the fans that they get to see those guys before they wear an NBA uniform. They get to see them, in college. So they're advanced. They've seen a lot, and there's a great maturity to those guys.
Aside from playing each other in the backyard, have they played against each other in Europe at all?
I don't think so. I don't think they played very much against each other. I'm sure Z's probably, telling Cal that he whipped his butt all the time, and Tommy's telling me that he whips Z's butt all the time, and so it'll be an interesting matchup. So again, I think it's just unique to have two guys that have highly impacted their teams and the twins going at it. It's a great story.